so now moment of truth is how tight are these gonna be? So if you look here, you gotta go through the wheel, into the hub, and then I'm going to let this down. I'm just putting a little pressure on the tire so I don't pull the bike off the stand. Wow. Okay, she is in there, guys. There she went. Mercy. Okay, before I get too far along with this, I want to grab my good buddy over here, PB Blaster. Okay, so a little PB Blaster penetrating oil helps with stuff like this. It's funky, it's greasy, it stinks, and it's the best thing going for 80-year-old seized up parts. See how this goes. I don't want to break anything off in there. Wow. You guys at home watching this can't smell it, but boy, that stuff reeks. All right, there's one. And unfortunately, the only way to do this is to jack it up enough to spin the wheel. If you can see here, I was hitting the frame, so I don't want to do that. I am going to end up probably painting most of this. So I'm going to turn this enough that I can be right here, and hopefully I'm clear of everything. And then let her back down. Whoa! That was almost an oops. Okay, so hold on just a second, guys. We're going to, I don't want to be a YouTube statistic where you see the bike fall over and go, oh, that idiot dumped his 41 pet knucklehead on the floor. We're going to strap this bad boy down just a wee bit. I wonder if this would go right there. It would. So we've been going back and forth. We're not sure, maybe some comments. I'm going to reach out to you guys and let me know, what do you want to see? Me personally, all my other projects are second nature compared to this one. My goal is to do nothing but this knucklehead over the next 6 months to a year, depending, but also want to see what you guys are willing to watch. If it's going to get too boring and you don't want to watch the same build over and over and over, let me know. And what we could probably do is work on this one for a few videos and then switch up and maybe work on the Servi-Car, do some ride footage. So we just don't want the channel to go stagnant, and we really appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate your guys' comments and suggestions. So please reach out. Let me know what you think. Do we stick with the knuckle or do we bounce around a little bit? Tell you what, first one that comes up with a good suggestion on videos, I'll send you a Hobson's Choice Harleys t-shirt. We had a few of them made. So little incentive, very little incentive, but man, oh man, oh man. Okay. Boy, she is in there. So I wonder what I got here. If I got something. Got some great big old wrenches, but I don't want to go that route necessarily. I wonder if we did this number. No way, no way. All right, so let's see how noisy it gets in here, guys. I'm going to have to plug in the compressor. No, I hate to plug in the compressor just because it gets so noisy you can't hear me ramble on. Whew. All right, she gave up the ghost. I'm really hoping not to break one of these off in there. Wouldn't be the first time. 2 down, 3 to go. And now with it strapped, I wonder if I have enough play to spin it. I do, just barely. And then we'll let it down. It's funny, my wife was watching videos the other day, the Hobson's Choice stuff, and she's like, how come you always say guys? You know, I'm a gal and I watch, and I don't know, to be honest with you. So hope none of you ladies that are watching take offense. That's just the way I ramble. And I hope that there's some ladies watching. My old lady is a diehard rider. In fact, she's jokingly already claimed this knuckle. She's so happy that she has a knucklehead, which most of the time we joke around. For me, that shit ain't funny. No, just kidding. She'll ride it. She'll get a ride on it. This is going to be a one butt. I'm going to put a king and queen seat on it, but this ain't a bike that you, in my age range, that you ride 2 people on with, you know, back pegs up here, rigid frame. I mean, this is going to be a backbuster machine. And as it is, like the Servi-Car, she's terrified. She doesn't want to drive it. And I don't blame her because it's so weird. Everything is, you know, it's got that foot clutch and the hand shift, and the front brake is on the left side, not the right side. So everything's different. And she's been riding, 6 years now. I taught her how to ride, got her own bike about 6 years ago. And, you know, she still rides 2-up with me occasionally, but for the most part, she rides her own bike. But there's limitations, you know, if you're not comfortable. I've been riding bikes for over 35 years. And I bought that Servi-Car, and I'm just now comfortable enough to ride it. I took the Servi-Car out and I drove, 20 or 30 miles on it, got her up to speed, 55 miles an hour. She moves right down the road, and she's terrifying just because it's so weird, and the brakes are marginal at best, and it was interesting to say the least. Okay, so now we've got that hub, should be free. Let's see if we can get that axle to... Wow, just everything is crunchy on this old machine. So I start playing with stuff like that and it's that crunchy. It tells me that that transmission is probably going to be more work than I thought. I was hoping just to clean it up and run it. And I still might, I don't know. It's hard to say. Once I get in there, we'll see what condition it's in. I don't have high hopes for anything else to be in much better shape. I don't know if you see this, but I am putting the axle nut back on there so that I don't booger up the axle. And usually 1 or 2 taps and it's loose enough that you can pull that out, but yeah, this whole thing is tired. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Yeah, look at the funk down inside there, guys. Yeah, she's crunchy. All right, so we're gonna spray a little of that in there. We're gonna spray a little of it in here. And most all these parts are gonna go right in the bucket of the evapo rust. Let's see if we can, I'm not even trying to pull it at this point. I'm just trying to get it there. Now I'm trying to pull it. Just a little at a time, that's all you get. And then, all right. So, yeah, I'll just have to clean it up and see. She feels kind of chattered. I don't know if the bearings have seized to that or not. So we're gonna put all that stuff in evaporust. Luckily, I've got dozens of axles laying around here. So if you guys haven't used it, this stuff, amazing stuff. It's non-toxic. And you put your parts in there, rusty, crusty, nasty, let them sit 24 hours. They come out looking like brand new, and you can use it over and over and over again, which is kind of cool. At some point, it just quits eating the rust, and then you can actually just throw that stuff out in the yard in the dirt because it's not, there's nothing oil-based, there's nothing toxic in it at all. In fact, my one guy told me the old school way of doing it is using 1 part molasses to 9 parts water, and for some reason the sugars in the molasses will actually eat the rust, but they don't damage the metal. All right, so now let's see what we can do at this point. So that's all unbolted, and I was kind of holding on to it when I unbolted it because right here, these two, that hub and drum assembly and this wheel should come apart now. When you pull that axle out, typically they fall into 2 pieces. Not this one. Hopefully I've got enough space. Oh, I did. Okay, so I'm holding on to everything. I'll pull my drum assembly out. Oh, look, there's a little bit of brake pad there. And the drum itself doesn't look too bad. Okay, so there's my spacer. Okay, well, so she's coming off the lift. Timber, oh, and I'm going to lay it over here by the Servi-Car, like so. And then I'm going to take a little blaster, and you can see there's these 5 little hubs right here between the 5 bolts that hold it together. And chances are she just seized on there. I'm sure if I beat on it, it would come apart, but there ain't no need for that. That's a really cool old Star hub wheel. So we're just going to let it sit like that. I'm not sure if I'm going to run the mechanical system on this bike. I've been thinking real seriously about running a hydraulic juice brake from a panhead or generator shovel head. I actually have one right over there. That's our next project here right now today, is we're going to pull this wheel and brake assembly off this round swing arm and see how she fits this bike. Not only that, but my good buddy Billy over in England has been asking me for at least a month for this round swing arm. He wants it for one of his bikes, and he is my best brother from another mother. So anything Billy wants that I can have or give to him, I do. So if you look at this, that spacer, that axle, that spacer, the whole assembly is all identical and is in pristine condition. Not to mention, this is a hydraulic brake, so I can put a master cylinder and actually have some stopping power. So I am going to dry fit this and see, not to mention the Invaders. The Invaders are going to be a cool look on this old machine. So we're going to pull this apart. Yeah, look at that. And this is all aftermarket stuff, but you know what? The frame is aftermarket, the front end's aftermarket, and for me, stopping is more important than OEM parts to a point. Luckily, the motor, transmission, all the mechanical parts of this bike are all stock, so that's a good thing. Okay, so we're going to stand this up. We're going to see how hard this one is in there. Okay, so she loosened up. And we'll lay this like so and see where's our condenser. So yeah, all this hardware here, it's all chrome plated, but look at that. It just spins pretty. Look at these hardware. Love you, Billy, but you get the beat up hardware, I get the good hardware. Billy's laughing when he watches this, I guarantee you, because he would expect nothing less from my hillbilly. I sent Billy a set of raised number rockers for a shovel head a while back, and they were literally looked like they'd been sitting in a lake. And the amount of work he did to make those pretty is amazing. The man is definitely skilled at what he does, and laughs every time I've got parts that are less than gorgeous, because everything he's got is totally top shelf stuff. But you know, if it wasn't for hillbillies like myself, a lot of these bikes wouldn't be on the road anymore. So, all right, gonna take a little tension off of here now and see. Yeah, so my bearings in this one might be just as bad, I don't know. You sure don't want to come loose. So this is the swing arm and wheel off of Miami Vice. And really, I haven't done anything except roll this bike around from garage to garage. So I have no idea what condition anything's in. It's going to take a lot of work to get this one back on the road, but that's all right. So here's what we're going to try. Against right in the center of that axle. Okay. Okay, so now's the part when you got to watch that everything. Okay, so if you look at the difference between that other axle and this axle, it's huge. And now we got to get this stop off of here. I'll have to do some research. I don't know how I'm going to stop that rotor from turning on that rigid frame compared to this swing arm frame. But when there's a will, there's a way. That being said, we should be pretty close to ta-da! Okay, so if we look inside this one, I'll show you. It's more or less the same thing as that Knucklehead. Brakes are in a lot better shape. Everything's in a lot better shape. This has got the Tenkin bearings. So actually, this will come back out, but for the most part, this is runnable. So we're going to see what we can do. So if you look here, we're flat. See, your flat spot's got to line up. That's your hydraulic brake line is up. Let's see if I can do this and not pinch my finger. Okay, so because of the way things are set up, that's going to have to go a little bit like so. There we go. So once I get that on there, which one is it? Where's all my parts? Is it that one? Yeah. Okay, again, this is just dry fitting, guys. I just want to get that on so nothing moves. And then we're going to wipe this off. And I'm putting my fingernail on there, and I'm checking for grooves, which really she's not too bad. And then I got to go back to my picture because I always try and get that in there reversed because that's what I do. Yeah, so that's a shouldered spacer. So that shouldered spacer should go right there. But the difference is, okay, so step one of things are different is we're going to have to measure. So we're about 8 3/4 inches. So I'm going to have to measure. I'm measuring between the frame to see where I'm at on this compared to where I'm at. I'll have to measure Frankie, my Jenny shovel, and see, because it don't look like I'm anywhere close to enough room to get this in there. No, I'm off 3/8 of an inch, which is not a big deal. I can build spacers. If you look here, again, you have flat spots on that axle so that it locks itself in tight. Wow. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to take all this apart and clean her all up, but for now we'll just see if we can't lube it with a little PB blaster, because I want to see what this machine looks like with the Invader wheels on it. Okay, she's right there. Okay, so we're just going to dry fit it like that for today and see from stand back. Oh yeah, that's pretty. That's real pretty. So what I don't know is if it's worth the amount of work it's going to take to make this wheel fit it this way, or if I pull this whole drum assembly off and put the mechanic brake back on it. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do just for my own education is I'm going to take that tape measure and we're going to look at the back of this hub here. So we're going to look from right here and see, these are just rough estimates. Don't give me a grief because I didn't break out a mic. Yeah, so we'll just measure the drum. How's that? So the drum to the sprocket's 2 1/4. And the drum to the sprocket here is 2 inch. So there's a 1/4 inch difference between this drum and that drum. So already I know I've got issues there. So I don't know. I don't know which direction we're going to go. I really like the look of that Invader wheel on there. So chances are pretty good that's what's going to happen. Yeah, if you look from this side, she really looks good with that Invader wheel on there. Yeah, that's a cool look. Definitely. Yep. So I think I'm going to try and pull the hub off of the mid-star or the star hub wheel, put the mechanical hub on this wheel, see if we can't get that together, and next would be pulling the tanks and the front end off and seeing if I can put that narrow glide front end on there with the other Invader and see what she looks like. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to kickstart that like button. All right, you guys made it to the end. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please kickstart that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, comment what you guys think. Let me know if you have any suggestions for video ideas or topics you guys want covered, and I'll do my best to include those in my next projects. You guys can also follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Also, don't forget to check out the Beacons link in the description below. See you next time.